Hi everyone, welcome back to Wrestling Fun with Father and Son. I'm Father Matt, and this is Son.
Hi.
And this is our explosive elite review for the 26th of the 3rd, 2020. Now, I haven't done a video for a few days because, to be honest, with the current situation and WWE and them being closed doors and there's not really any atmosphere, and they're just showing half the shows are literally like replays of WrestleMania matches and Royal Rumble matches, and they ain't really putting any matches on these, or any story progression as it were. I haven't really bothered. All I can say is that WrestleMania is being taped this week, and we will do a WrestleMania predictions. But anyway, let's talk about AEW, because AEW actually are putting in a good show, and they're still sort of they're making the best of a bad situation, as it were. First of all, Blood and Guts didn't happen, so all the matches, like the lumberjack match and the parking lot brawl and the Blood and Guts itself, didn't happen this week. They actually postponed that for a time when they can have an audience, which I think is a really good decision. Obviously, WWE are not doing that with WrestleMania. Maybe they should have done that. I don't really know. I understand they want to put something out there, but they probably could have postponed this for a future date, or the matches could have been SummerSlam matches, possibly. Anyway, started off, again, no crowd, I will say that. They didn't even have wrestlers at ringside this time. They did last week, and they did sort of give a little bit of an atmosphere. This time they didn't. I think that's probably because I think they're in Jacksonville. I think they probably said, I don't want you to. You can do your show, but no one around ringside now. Instead, they had a group of people in an RV. I'm guessing it's an RV, a backstage area where they're placing bets. Don't know how that's different from being around the ringside. They could be more spread out at the ringside than in an RV or wherever they were. They were very close quarters, and with the social distancing, I thought that didn't really work. We had Kenny Omega and Cody were on commentary with Tony Schiavone, so no Excalibur and Jim Ross. Cody was the first match of the night. He was first as Jimmy Havoc. It made me laugh a little bit because they did that little sort of we can demonstrate with the old elbows, Kai, elbow to elbow like that instead of a handshake. It did make me laugh that when Cody did his entrance, he went and kissed his wife, who was doing the ring announcing, and then he shook Aubrey's hand, the referee. So I thought, well, that's a little bit sort of double standard there. Cody went and won the match against Jimmy Havoc. Then they had a little video with Jake Snake, or pre-recorded, saying about that Archer was chomping at the bit to get in the ring, and that they basically challenged Cody to a match. Cody went back to the commentary and said that, you know, Jake just sounded bitter, and that Archer needs to sort of prove himself and have a body of work. And he said he'd make a debut next week. So they didn't say whether it'd be against Cody, but we'll have to see. Then we had Darby Allin versus Kip Sabian. Darby Allin won with this sort of new sort of leg lock and pin sort of thing that they called the Last Supper. I thought it was a really cool sort of finishing move, especially for Darby Allin. He normally does a coffin drop. This is now another sort of layer to the character. Next we had Jake Hager versus Chico Adams. Jobber. Jake Hager got a quick win with that one. Only for them, John Moxley, to come out and attack Hager. He did a paradigm shift, which Hager didn't really. He took, but he didn't really sell it because he quickly tried to flip it into a leg, an ankle lock. Sorry, and Moxley got out of that, and they sort of. They look like they're teasing a match there. I think them two are going to have a match. Could be for the belt. Moxley did a video backstage, or a promo backstage, where he said he's now cleared to wrestle, and that, you know, he will now come for the Inner Circle. Next we had QT Marshall versus Brody Lee, the Exalted One, making his debut. Brody Lee got the win with this I said it was like an homage to Sister Abigail a little bit, because he sort of bends him over a bit like Bray Wyatt does before he does his Sister Abigail, and then Brody Lee does it differently, because then he sort of does this clothesline finish. But I wondered why they sort of do that. Is that an homage to Bray, or is that sort of just sort of a rib to the WWE? I'm not really too sure. They had a Nick Jackson update. Vanguard 1, obviously Matt Hardy's little drone is called Vanguard 1. It showed Nick sort of working out, so it looks like he's now going to be coming back soon. Then we had the main event, Sammy Guevara versus Kenny Omega for the AAA Mega Championship. This was a very good match with two similar styles, but it was Kenny Omega got the win. And then we go to the sort of the end main event, as it were, with Jericho and Matt Hardy's confrontation. Jericho came out and he basically asked Matt Hardy to join the Inner Circle. And then he called him out, only for Matt Hardy to appear in the crowd. Then they sort of did these sort of camera cuts where he sort of teleported to different places down to the bottom. The cuts weren't that great because you could see Jericho stuttering a little bit, and they kind of needed to work on that a little bit. Only for Matt Hardy to sort of get into the ring. Jericho said, "Look, you need to learn about AEW. This is my show. I created everything in AEW," and bigging himself up. Only for Matt Hardy to say that he owed the Young Bucks, or the Bucks of Youth, a debt for resurrecting Matt Hardy. Because if you've been following Matt Hardy's YouTube series Free the Delete, they've kind of got this narrative in it where he his last vessel had sort of died, and he'd now created this sort of new vessel had come into him, and he got buried, and then he resurrected, and the Young Bucks were in the video and helped him. And that's the sort of thing, if you want, if you want to sort of catch up on that, then you go to Matt Hardy's YouTube channel, and he's got all the videos there. He basically said that AEW represented freedom, and that the Inner Circle were destroying paradise, and he wouldn't allow it, and he would end up deleting them. He did say about his new vessel, Damascus, who, if you follow the Free the Delete, is more like a volatile, violent vessel than his last one. So Jericho then sort of retorted that and said, "Well, you've been living in the shadows of your brother, of bad booking," which I thought was quite a funny little thing from Jericho, with a sort of nod to the WWE there.
It was also mentioned, like you said, Matt Hardy's brother is actually Jeff.
Yeah, basically, yeah, that's it. Jeff Hardy, or brother Nero, who probably will eventually be in AEW when his contract's up with WWE. That's what they're heading for. He's just got to work out that last bit of his contract because he got injured and they add that time on. That's why he didn't go with Matt Hardy at that time. If not, they would have both been in AEW by the looks of it. So yeah, Jericho said that, why don't you've been living in the shadows, if your brother Jeff and bad booking and all that, come to the Inner Circle, will bring you to the forefront. Basically, look what he's done with Hager and the Inner Circle and all that. Only for then Matt Hardy to say, actually, he will delete the Inner Circle with that chant, which obviously is going to be amazing when they get the audience shouting the delete. And in the end, there was a slapping fest between Jericho and Matt Hardy, and then Sammy Guevara from behind attacked Matt Hardy, only for then Cody and Kenny Omega, who were on commentary at that time, they picked up a chair, come down and did the save, only for then Jericho, Sammy to be on the stage. Matt Hardy signalled the delete, some fire came up, he did another delete, fire came up, then he did a double delete sign, and then the whole stage sort of not engulfed in flames, but they had these sort of flamethrowers come up, and that was kind of it. So yeah, again, a solid show. There's no filler in this show, not like WWE is doing. WWE kind of don't know how to sort of manage the situation, I find. They have changed the camera angle on WWE to be a bit more like AEW, with that sort of in front of the stage, so you see the big screen and all that. WWE are kind of doing that, so you can see they're watching and they're learning from AEW. But I find that AEW's show is a little bit more better. Even though they don't have an audience, I still think there is I don't know why, I just feel AEW has more of an atmosphere. I don't know why. The Performance Centre is kind of dull, and I find it very echoey and very studio-y, and I don't know why. I think AEW is like an arena type thing, and you do get that echo and you do get that sort of ambient noise. I don't know why, but it feels like there is an atmosphere. Anyway, like I say, we'll keep going with AEW. Again, I'm just chiming in with the WWE every now and again. I think I'm not really going to religiously put a video out there because, to be honest, like I say, there's not really much happening, and it's hard to be critical at the time, but I do like AEW shows, so we'll continue to do AEW and follow that. We'll do a WrestleMania predictions and then do a WrestleMania reactions when it happens. But like I say, for the foreseeable future, it depends what happens on SmackDown and Raw. Like I say, not much happened this last week or two, so we'll just have to see. Anyway, if you like this video, please like, comment and subscribe, and we will see you in the next video, whatever that may be. So I'll say goodbye, and say goodbye, Kai.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.